This is a story of an Italian millionaire banker's fascinating journey towards Islam. Ruggiero Lomonaco achieved extraordinary success in the investment industry. In the early 1990s, he was a young Italian on a graduate internship studying finance. He was keen to make a life in the field of banking, but something happened that made him reconsider his choices in life. He had three dreams. In the first one, he saw himself standing on the day of Qiyamah, engulfed in the nur of Allah. He describes it as an opaque light that was eternal and had stopped time and space. He felt that his past life was a distant and far away. His troubles had vanished, and he was extremely at peace. He woke up in the middle of the night, longing for that feeling to return. That was a good feeling, he thought. He wondered how he could stay in this light forever. But at that time, he was agnostic. He did not believe in any God and therefore did not realize that he was standing in Allah's nur. The minute he drifted back into sleep, he had another dream. He saw himself hanging upside down in darkness. Again, he was out of time and space. He felt a feeling of desperation, and he wanted to get out of that state. The next day, he spent a lot of time thinking about what he had seen. The next night, when he went to sleep, he saw himself in a position of sajda. He felt that a force was keeping him in that state. He could see a mountain with a burning tree, and a voice behind him said, "Don't deny my existence." When he woke up in shock, he found himself in prostration and thought that he needed to take some action. He was sure at this point about the existence of God, but he wanted to find out how to communicate with him. He started going to the Christian school and started learning about religion from scratch. One day, during his military service, he was standing guard and staring at the floor. He saw some ants coming in and out with some sticks on their head. When sunset came, they put the sticks in a hole, closed the opening, and then two of them stood guard. Ruggiero thought nobody could have taught them to do this, so there must be a higher power governing them. When his service finished, he hopped on a bus to go back home. He was staring out the window and pondering over nature, the mountains, leaves, etc. A woman was sitting next to him. Ruggiero started a conversation with her about the existence of God. This woman turned out to be a Muslim, and later on, she sent Ruggiero a copy of the Quran with Italian translation. When Ruggiero opened the Quran, he felt like the words were spoken by the same entity that spoke to him in his dream. They were the words of a king, a master. Ruggiero started going to the mosque with one of his Muslim neighbors, and during one iftar dinner, he started a discussion on finance. When Ruggiero told his neighbor that he plans to work in a bank, he was surprised to hear that interest wasn't halal in Islam, and therefore he should ideally look for some other job. For some time, Ruggiero felt that all his plans and dreams about the future had been shattered, but it was a test of his faith. He could have still started working in a bank, but his intention was pure. He did not want to do anything un-Islamic. He stayed steadfast on the religion, but also was determined to find halal jobs in the banking sector. He printed out copies of his resume and started going around in different Islamic countries looking for work. He went to the Middle East, but had no success. He then went to Malaysia and had no success there, but he was advised to go to London as he would find opportunities there. He joined the graduate trainee program in the Treasury Department of JP Morgan, but he still had doubts about the permissibility of his job, and that's why he kept on researching Islamic finance for 2 years in a library in Holland Park. Came to London, Stratford, Maryland Station, JP Morgan. One day in the library, he saw two men talking about Islamic finance. He asked them if I could join in on the discussion. One of the men was Farid, who was the legal advisor for Islamic Banking and Institute, and the other gentleman was an Islamic scholar. Ruggiero soon became great friends with Farid, and this connection paved the way for success in the world of finance. Farid called a few months later and told Ruggiero about Iqbal Khan, who was looking for young Muslim professionals to work on Global Islamic Finance Institution for HSBC. Ruggiero jumped at this opportunity and wrote a letter to Iqbal Khan, telling him that he is studying Islamic finance and has good experience with the derivatives as well. He had an interview with Iqbal Khan and entered into the world of Islamic finance, finally. From this point onwards, Ruggiero got massive opportunities. He was approached by the finance minister of Qatar to arrange financing for the new Doha airport. Through experience, he soon learned that he would have to move away from the theoretical models of Islamic financing and focus on the alternatives like Murabba and Ijara, with a promise to buy back. Soon, Ruggiero joined hands with one of his colleagues from Nadir Bank, and together they set towards establishing a product to deal with other Islamic banks. The other Islamic banks wanted to deal with conventional banks, but they couldn't just deposit their money into the money market deposit. They had to come up with an innovative solution. Ruggiero's colleague showed him a triangular structure with the Islamic bank buying commodities and then selling those commodities to the inner bank, and then the inner bank was selling them back to the market. Ruggiero spoke to the scholars who advised that they had to start somewhere. Even though this model wasn't ideal, the scholars believed that it would pave the way for more Sharia-compliant opportunities. Ruggiero believes that the scholars were very right to agree, because if they had continued to insist, Ruggiero and his team wouldn't have gotten anywhere. Because to operate a bank account, you need to have banking license, and that puts you under the supervision of the central bank. So to start an Islamic bank, they had to sacrifice the theory. Fast forward to 2023. Everyone is talking about Islamic finance, even in Saudi, where people were very doubtful of Islamic banking. Ruggiero's team introduced some Islamic products, and within a few months, 90% of new products were Islamic. Within a couple of years, the whole of Saudi's British bank was Sharia compliant. Ruggiero's story is proof that if someone leaves something for the sake of Allah, Allah replaces it with something better. Despite envisioning a future in the conventional banking system, Ruggiero kept himself protected from haram. He kept studying Islamic finance and persisted in his quest for finding a halal alternative. Using his determination, along with Allah's help, he eventually found Sharia-compliant ways of banking and investment. Today, Ruggiero is the leading Rasmala bank as a fund manager. He invests in long-income real estate and infrastructure assets in UK, continental Europe, and North America. Hope you found today's video informational and inspiring. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.